The snow had been falling steady for hours, burying the Bitter Pine National Preserve under a silent white sheet. Wind hissed through the jagged evergreens, a freezing whisper across the wilderness few dared to cross in winter. But deep within that forest, in a forgotten part of Wyoming, someone had been left to die. Ranger Ethan Maddox had served these woods for 2 decades. At 42, he'd seen wildfires, avalanches, mountain lions, and poachers. But nothing like this. Chained to a tree, wrists raw from struggling, his uniform soaked in a freezing cocktail of blood and snowmelt, Ethan's body trembled with each shallow breath. His consciousness danced on the edge of blackout. The metal links bit into his chest. His face was battered, his temple crusted with dried blood, his fingers pale with frostbite. It had been 2 days. 2 endless days since the ambush. He remembered the voices muffled under ski masks, sharp with rage. They'd demanded access to restricted parts of the reserve. Land they could exploit for illegal hunting, backdoor logging contracts, and whatever else brought profit in the shadows. When Ethan refused, they made him an example. Chained him up and left him in the wild to freeze and vanish. But nature had other plans. At first, Ethan thought the crunching in the snow was another hallucination. The cold had turned sounds strange, twisted the trees into grotesque shapes. But when he cracked open swollen eyes, he saw them. Not wolves as his survival instincts first screamed, but dogs. German shepherds, 5 of them, dark coats dusted in snow, eyes sharp and golden. And they weren't strays. Their movements were calculated, precise, tactical. The largest of them, an old warrior with a long scar slashing over one eye, stepped forward and met Ethan's gaze. No bark, no growl. Just silence, stillness, and understanding. The others began circling, scanning, digging. One uncovered the frozen padlock. Another barked sharp and singular into the forest. Ethan's broken voice rasped out, "Good boys," before he slipped into unconsciousness. When he awoke again, it was to human voices and bright flashlights. "Over here." "We've got him," a woman's voice shouted. Through the fog of pain, Ethan saw uniforms, real ones, and the faces of K9 handlers breaking through the snow-laden trees. The dogs had brought them. The scarred shepherd stood guard nearby, unmoving, as if making sure the job wasn't over until Ethan was safe. The next time Ethan opened his eyes, he was in the ranger station infirmary. Warmth burned his skin after so long in the cold. His body ached as if every nerve had been lit on fire. A nurse leaned over him, smiling softly. "You're lucky. They found you just in time." His throat was too dry for words. He croaked out, "The dogs, where are the dogs?" "They're outside. Waiting. Especially one of them, the big one with the scar." Later that day, Sheriff Barrett Dean entered the room, his weathered face grave but relieved. A man built like a barn, stoic and solid. "Ethan," he said, pulling up a chair. "You've got one hell of a story to tell." Ethan's voice was raspy. How did they find me?" Barrett leaned back, folding his arms. "Our K9 team was doing a winter drill in the eastern woods. Whiteout came fast. They got separated from their handler. When they didn't report to the checkpoint, we figured we'd lost them. But they came back covered in snow, barking like mad. One of our trainers, Ava Monroe, trusted her gut. She followed them. They led her straight to you." Ethan closed his eyes, fighting a rush of emotion. "They saved me." Barrett nodded, then gestured toward the hallway. "There's more." The door opened and in padded the scarred German shepherd. His ears perked as he locked eyes with Ethan. Without hesitation, he walked over and rested his massive head on the mattress. "This is Titan," Barrett said. 8 years old. Retired military K9. Decorated. Lost his handler in Afghanistan. He hasn't bonded with anyone since. But he chose Ethan. Ava walked in next, snow-blonde hair tied back, her eyes full of emotion. "I've trained Titan for 2 years," she said. "He never listens to anyone. Never connects. Until he found you." Ethan laid a trembling hand on Titan's thick neck. The dog leaned into the touch, eyes closing. "You knew," Ethan whispered. "You felt what I felt." Before anyone could respond, a deputy burst in. "Sheriff, you need to see this. We found fresh tire tracks near Sector 12. Chains recently cut. Someone was back there. Last night." Barrett's face hardened. "They came back." Ethan sat up, pain slicing through his ribs. "They think I'm still out there. They're tying up loose ends." The ranger station shifted from calm to crisis in seconds. Deputies whispered behind closed doors. Radios crackled. The storm hadn't ended, it had only changed form. That night, Ethan sat by a window wrapped in a thermal blanket, Titan curled at his feet like a living shadow. Ava handed him coffee and asked softly, "Still won't take the pain meds?" "I need my mind sharp," Ethan said. "There's more going on." Ava nodded. "We're bringing in federal agents. This wasn't just poaching. It was professional. Coordinated." Ethan tapped his finger on the armrest. "Whoever did this, they knew where to leave me. Knew our patrol routes. They knew too much. They weren't supposed to find you," Ava murmured, glancing down at Titan. "But they did." The bond between Ethan and Titan deepened by the hour. The dog stayed beside him, guarding, watching. When a noise came from the rear garage, Titan reacted first. A bark sharp, commanding, then a growl. Ava raised her flashlight. "Garage door," Ethan said. "Power's out." As they moved through the station, everything was silent until it wasn't. Glass shattered at the far end. Footsteps echoed. Then a voice told you he wouldn't die out there. The intruders had come back. Valor moved like a phantom, leading Ethan and Ava through the pitch-black corridors. They found the first attacker in the generator room. A crowbar swung, missed Ethan's head by inches. Titan lunged. Clamped down. Brought him to the floor. "You were supposed to die," the man hissed. "We're just getting started," Ethan snarled. Then came the next wave, gunfire outside. 2 intruders breaching the vehicle garage. 1 snowmobile already hot-wired. Titan took off without waiting for a command, launching into the night. Ethan followed. In the snowy clearing, Titan tackled the first man off the snowmobile. The second raised a gun until Ethan hurled a hatchet, knocking the weapon from his hand. Ava took him down. It was over. Deputies cuffed the suspects. Titan limped toward Ethan, wounded but standing. The ranger dropped to his knees in the snow, cradling the dog. "You saved me again," he whispered. "You saved everyone." But even as the danger passed, a darker truth unraveled. Ava handed Ethan a folder. "This is the access form the shooter used weeks ago. Civilian contractor. Equipment maintenance. Signature isn't yours." "No," Ethan said, jaw clenched. "That's forged." They'd been infiltrated from the inside. That night, Ethan stepped into the cold for air and saw someone near the treeline. Sheriff Dean. "Alone. You couldn't sleep either?" Dean asked. "Something like that," Ethan replied, wary. Dean sighed. "After all these years, turns out the animals weren't the real threat." Ethan didn't answer. "They just wanted permits. Deals. I didn't know they'd go that far. Chain you up like that wasn't supposed to happen." Ethan's face went still. "It was you." Dean's expression twisted, not with guilt, but fatigue. "You were in the way. You kept digging. They paid to make it go away. I didn't think you'd survive. You left me to die." "I didn't count on that dog," Dean said, glancing at Titan. Ethan stepped forward. "You betrayed everything." Dean's hand moved toward his belt. "Too late." Titan lunged and pinned him. Deputies arrived seconds later. It was over. Or so they thought. The betrayal ran deeper. The permits, reports, everything Dean touched was compromised. As investigators swept the station, more secrets surfaced: forged land sales, falsified access, entire patrol logs altered. Dean was arrested. But the web he'd built remained. Ethan was offered a transfer out of the forest into an office in Helena. He looked at Titan, who lay at his feet, eyes vigilant. "Do I look like I belong behind a desk?" Ava smiled. "Didn't think so." She handed him an envelope. "Your new assignment. Echo K9 Division. Titans reactivated under your command." Ethan opened it slowly. His name. Titans. A new unit. A new beginning. "You really think I'm qualified?" he asked. Ava looked at them both. "I think you already are." But even as spring thawed the forest, the shadows lingered. Cameras cut out at night. Tracks appeared in fresh snow. Equipment moved when no one was around. And one night, Ethan caught a glimpse through the Teresa badge, silver, reflecting moonlight. Someone else was still out there, watching. Titan growled, low and steady. And Ethan knew it wasn't over. But this time they wouldn't be caught off guard. Because loyalty wears fur. And when the forest cries for help, some heroes answer on four legs with sharp eyes, silent steps, and a heart that never gives up.